Hello doll friends, this is Michael Kanadas with the Grovian Doll Museum and Carmel Doll Shop. Here we are with our third installment for Mr. and Mrs. Tom Thumb. Today I have my good friend Denise here, and we're actually going to you do things for us.
Yes,
and today,
sometimes.
And today we're going to do something for you because
so nice.
You have your own kit.
I do.
And I haven't figured out how to film and sew at the same time. So Denise is going to sew her hats for her own personal kit,
right.
And I'm going to film it. So those of you that have bought our Tom Thumb kit, this is going to be the instruction on how to make them.
Right.
And they're I think you're going to find they're fun, simple to make, but very effective. And those of you out there that did not buy our kit, this is going to give you some techniques that you can figure out to do on your own with just some basic shapes and manipulation of the fabrics and trims to make wonderful little miniature hats. And I will tell you that these are actually much more complicated than the original Tom Thumb hats, which are very simplistic. So we've gone a little bit beyond what they did.
Complicated but effective.
Yes, yes. So we are you ready to sew?
I'm ready to sew.
Okay, we're going to do it. So Denise.
Yes.
So here we are. And this is going to be our first little chapeau.
Yes, look at it. Simple, but effective, as we said. So pretty.
And this is, I like this because this is a waffled cotton. And it has the appearance of straw, but like the painted straw. In the 19th century, they would take straw and they would make a hat, and then they would actually paint it almost with like a gesso type of paint. So this to me gives that little miniature look.
It does. It adds a little texture.
And it's fun and easy to make for this tiny little girl. So where do you want to start?
Okay, let's put her down. This is how the kit is going to come with, let's see, over here we've got some threads. And every dress, every hat for the dress is labeled. So actually we're going to get this one. We're going to take it out and see what we've got and start. And
don't take them out until
you're
ready to use them.
Yeah.
Because they're little and they could easily get lost.
Get lost. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we have. And here here are the pattern pieces, which will be in your instructions and your patterns, your whole kit. Okay. All right. So I've got the little waffle weave, some ribbon.
And that's double-sided.
So this.
And the waffle,
this is.
Yes, that's double-sided.
Okay. Some lace and then trim.
And that's it.
That's it. Oh, this is nice double. Oh, nice. It's got some, can we show?
It's got
some tarlatan inside to give it some
strength.
Ah, okay.
And shape, which we will go about shaping it. So I think the first thing we have to do is cut it out. And you can use a pencil or a pen. I wouldn't pin it because you don't want the pinholes in it.
Right.
But I trace around it and then just cut it out.
Right. When it's this small, the pins can distort the paper, the pattern. And I guess what we can, let's try this. I think people know what these are by now, these Pilot friction pins. And the ink comes off when you iron over it.
And it wouldn't matter anyway.
And it'll come back if you put it in the freezer, I guess.
Yeah.
So don't put the hat in the freezer.
I wasn't planning on it.
Yeah, okay, let's see.
I don't know why anybody would put a
I'm sorry, I got
garment in the freezer. I mean, I understand putting a teddy bear in the freezer, but, you know, to kill little varmints.
you know, these, yeah, no, I don't know why. I'm sure they're used for different things and different purposes, so. Okay.
And if they don't have one of these pins, a pencil, just a regular,
pencil will be fine.
Yeah, a pencil would be just fine.
It won't be it won't be noticeable. You won't see it. Let me just get my little scissors here.
And you wouldn't really want to do this part with your best scissors because the tarlatan is so.
Oh, okay.
It's like paper.
Yeah.
But it's got. I guess it's got to be good enough to.
Oh, this is okay. Yes, sharp. These are sharper than paper scissors that I have. Okay. We don't have. Do we have this plugged in?
It should be plugged in.
It is, but it's not on. And what we'll do is.
Then we overcast the edge because we. And we're going to overcast the edge as close as we can get to the edge.
To the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Even though we're going to put lace on the edge, I just think it gives it a little more strength to have the overcasting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can start and when that's yeah. So I don't know. I guess you can start anywhere. I'm just going to start.
You can
down
start
here.
anywhere. And you can see we're getting it right at the edge. But make sure you get all three pieces together.
Okay.
Now, if we were doing this for a full-size doll, meaning like a 12-inch or a 20-inch, we would put millinery wire on the edge.
Oh,
but because of the tiny size, that's why it is good to, even though this could be overdoing it, because we're going to sew lace on it next, it does give it some strength.
Some strength, yeah. It just finishes it, kind of.
All right, so well, we'll get this overcast, and we'll come back and show you the next step.
Now the next step we have is to put this lace. This lace is going to go on the inside of the hat.
To make a lining.
To make a lining, and then we're going to gather that in. First we're going to overcast right at the edge, the header of the lace.
Which is the straight part.
Straight part. To
the
where we just,
edge.
the very edge where we just overcast. Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna get some light. And we don't want it gathered up like this.
We want
we're trying to keep it as straight, as we can.
And that's fairly easy to get through, isn't it?
Yes, it's very easy to get through.
Yeah, I love
it's not hard at all.
Using tarlatan as a base.
It has a lot of uses, doesn't it?
It does. Well, way more than the current generation knows.
Am I the current generation?
You are the current generation. Isn't there a song about that? Is something about my generation?
I don't know. I'm not going to sing. I shouldn't. I would sing it at home, or if the camera weren't on me, I'd sing it here, but no. Or is it my or our generation?
I think it's probably our generation.
Okay, Jeffrey, what is it?
Somebody could put it in the comments.
Yeah.
So we're going to just get this all sewn on, and you're doing a very nice job, and we'll come back and show them the next step.
Okay. Now that we've gotten the piece of lace sewn to the outside edge of the fabric of the hat. See, we're going to gather this inside, this inner part. When I came to the end, I just folded over a little bit.
But you know, I mean, it's nice to fold it over, but you don't have to. No. You can just leave it straight. It's not going to show it this tiny.
Let's see, I'm just going to take...
And if you hear some panting, breathing, and noises, that's Annabelle. She just came back from the forest.
Right.
She was at the Rip Van Winkle forest.
Okay. So I'm going to go gather it. Oh, let's see. This piece is kind of bothering me. Right at the edge of the decorative edge. Not sure what to call it.
I think the decorative edge works. I'm sure a lace collector could tell us a technical term.
The people at the Lace Museum. Ooh.
They would be able to tell us.
Oh, what the video you did? When was that? Couple of
2
World
years
Doll
ago?
Days ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to see them using those bobbins, I don't know if that's what you call it. Oh my gosh.
And they do it. Actually, and I asked them to slow down.
And they don't get knotted up. Amazing. But how wonderful that there are people who are still doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
At least somewhere it's still
And they've
remembered.
really embraced the virtual world, and it really saved the whole museum from so now they have classes with people all over the world on lace making.
That's great.
You know, I enjoy going there because they're very, very modest. I mean, there isn't anything you can ask them that they don't know about lace. So what we're basically doing is doing like a lining that you'd see in a hat, which would normally be like something like a little organdy band.
Yeah, and I'm not going out to the outside.
Yeah, you're not poking through.
It's just the lace. And I'm using a double thread. Okay, so it's still flat.
And should we just pull it fairly tight and tie it off?
Right. We're at the end, and then we can kind of.
And you could also, if you're doing this by yourself, you can pin it. If you have one of these mats, you can pin the hat to the mat and then pull it off.
Is that that okay?
That you have done a great job. It's already going into the shape that we want. So we'll tie that off and we'll come back with the next step.
And this, right.
You got it.
It's so little. The next step we have is to put this beautiful trim around the outside of the hat.
And we're putting it on top.
On top. So, but what looks, and let's look at her because she's a good example. So we think we kind of moved her hat a little bit. Oh, here it is. We kind of liked that there was a little blue piece kind of centered.
Between her eyes.
Yeah, and then the other ones are kind of dropped
above.
down.
Above each eye.
So, in order to do that, I'm afraid, for me, if I were just starting back here, which is where we want to start, then who knows where it would be.
No, I think we need to start in the front.
So I want to make sure that this little piece is in the front. And I thought, well, I also might not get it centered on the hat itself, on the fabric. So I'm just folding.
You could just crease it.
Folding a little bit. I've got that bottom flat edge.
The back.
Together.
Because we're going to reshape it when we're all done.
And then I pretty much have the spot right there. Also, this is all we need of this. So we have plenty. So if I kind of find the center, that's right about there, and then put that on here, then I've pretty much got it, I think.
Well, why don't we put one stitch in it and just see if that's going to work? Yeah, just.
Oh, with both. Okay. And there is a right or wrong side to this, but you have to figure it out kind of for yourself.
Yeah, I mean either one. If you made a mistake,
it's either one. Yeah. I just think there's kind of a little edge on this, a little bit on the wrong side, and so to me that's the right side.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Okay, so let's put this little center guy right here.
And we're going to have just a wee little overhang.
Okay, so can we, is that, I can't see what you're saying.
Yeah, just a wee little, you've got it.
Just a little, a little bit.
You've got it.
Okay, I'm just going through there.
And we're going to just stitch through the top layer. But you kind of have to use that by.
Sometimes you just have to turn things back and forth to make sure you're in the right spot. Let's see if I did that okay. Okay. So I'm just going to leave this as like a little. I'm going to just leave that as a little stitch. I'm going to make a big deal out of it because I'm going to stitch over it.
Okay.
Anyway. I don't want any more bulk in there with my knots.
I can see it. I can see that you've got that perfectly, Denise.
I hope so. Let's see. Okay.
We can see it right here.
Okay.
Because it's kind of it's a zigzaggy design.
Yes.
When you start to see it. So we're just going to now take and sew that all the way around, flat.
Flat. And I'm going to make the end back here, not on the side here. I'm going to make, where I cut this.
Do a turn.
I'm going to cut it
and then
center,
and join them together.
Bottom, and then this side.
In the back.
In the back.
All right, we're going to sew this on, and we'll show you how it turned out. We may probably almost have to sew it slightly zigzaggy too.
I think, that might be like up and then down, and otherwise, see, we don't want any of that showing.
Yeah, we want a little slight overhang.
Okay, right. And you can start here and sew down, and you can then go over here and sew down, or you can kind of put it where you think it should be and then start here. What would you do? I think
I would do what you just said.
Well, I said two things.
Well, the main thing is we've done the hardest part, which is the centering of it.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to kind of zigzag our stitches to catch a little bit of the bottom and the top.
Okay. I think I'll start here.
All right, start there.
And go around, because I think I have
more control there.
I have it pretty good. Okay, I've sewn this trim around, and I did sew from this top middle part to the back. It almost looks round now, but we do know that this is still the square back. And I have some hangover here.
Which I like.
You don't have to have this much. You can have less.
But I like it.
And when you stitch, you really do have to, you can't just like stitch around, because then you'll fall short when it comes up this way. So, stitch down, stitch up a little, stitch down, or vice versa, whatever, so that you don't miss the inside here. I don't know. as clear or not. The next thing we're going to do, and we still do have the back, there's squared off.
It's there, I can see it.
Is fold it.
I think just gather it.
Just gather it.
In a tight gather.
In a tight gather, okay. So from
edge to edge.
Here to here, gather it up. Okay, I'm going to make my thread double again.
Yeah, I think it's...
Because, yeah.
Because we're going to be pulling a lot of stuff.
It'll be stronger, yeah. Okay.
You can see it's already pulling into shape.
And then this is going to shape it more, so. All right. So from the, how did you do it?
I would do it
from this side, because I can really see. I can see it
Do it
here.
at what other side that you can see?
This I can't see as well.
Yeah, I would do it that side.
Okay. Well.
I mean, none of what you're doing now is going to be, you're not going to see it.
Okay.
Because there's still the back lace.
I sort of have a fat knot there, but okay.
And a bow is going to go over that.
Oh, I just thought of something. And this is a good thing to keep in mind. I'm doing tiny stitches, which isn't going to gather it.
No, we need a
bigger stitches are going to gather it. So that wasn't right at all. Okay.
Maybe 4 stitches or 3, something like that.
I think you feel like, oh, I should be doing tiny stitches, but that's not necessarily true. Okay. I know I'm being picky. I'm just going to cut this knot off. Okay. So, kind of do.
Yeah, that's
is that a?
I think that's gonna.
Okay.
Maybe 3 of those will do it, huh? Maybe 4.
I don't know. Let's see. Oh. The moment of truth.
I think that worked perfectly.
Did it?
Okay. But then we could go in and run a stitch between all of those, and then
to really pull
it tight. Yeah.
Okay. And there's going to be
covering.
This is going to be covered here. Would you just gather, just
sure,
hold this
right
through right back? Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are learning with me. Okay, it's just a little tough. Okay, we'll get it.
Come on, you gotta get in there.
Get in there. Me of the current generation. Okay. And it's easier to go from the inside.
Wasn't there a poster, just do it?
Just do it. Okay.
This is probably the most strenuous sewing of the whole thing.
Yeah, here, let's move over here to the table, because I want to...
Let me get there so I can see. Where are you? Denise, I lost you.
I moved, didn't I? I just moved way over here.
Oh, there you are.
I just wanted something to, since I'm not wearing a thimble, I just wanted to do that, and I couldn't do it through the felt, even though I kept trying.
That's a sneaky.
Okay.
But we
see, you can pull it again even more.
We have
look, it's kind of folded. It's pretty much folded.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you have to go in and do it again, do it again if you want.
What I was thinking is just like putting in these two and then knotting it.
We're going to have to get you one of our needle pullers. We'll get you a needle puller for the next one.
I have oh, maybe it's not in here. Oh, I used it. It's one of those clamps.
But I think you've got it. I really do.
Look at this. Let's try this. What did we say? The struggle is real. There it is.
There, you got it.
Wow. Now I need one of those pullers. Wow.
I'll have Eddie get you one for the next, go
the
round.
next go round.
All right, we'll get this, we'll get this under control.
I'm looking through all my stuff to see if I have.
And we will be back.
Oh, I'm sorry. But right now, what we have is sort of a little flat blob, which doesn't look like it's going to fit her head. So we need to shape it. So we're going to mist it with our little handy mister here. It's probably enough.
That's enough, yeah. And I think that the moisture is going to reactivate the tarlatan, which will help shape it.
And we're going to take our doll, put this on her head.
And we've done a little painter's tape on it.
Yes, and that helps. I mean, just a little tiny bit when you're done helps the hat sort of stay. Because she's not only tiny, but she's slippery.
She is.
Being China. Okay. So we're just going to try to mold it around her head. And I still have this blue piece centered. And holding back here, just hold with your fingers around, kind of shape it.
You are finger pressing.
I'm finger pressing. See, it almost kind of is
the shape
doing it. And we're going to let it dry. She's going to have little ribbon here to tie it on.
So while we're letting it dry, and I think it has a beautiful shape, Denise.
I think so. I think it's getting there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shape. We're going to let it dry, and then, but while it's drying, we're going to do the other embellishments so that we can just attach it.
Okay.
We'll be back.
It's time to do the little rosettes that go on the back of the hat. And we've got a nice piece of silk ribbon here. We're going to take 6 inches and cut that. And then cut it in half so we have 2 pieces 3 inches long. Okay, so now we've got enough for the 2 rosettes in the back, which we're going to then connect.
Once we've rosetted them up.
Once we've made them,
yeah.
Yes.
I find that it's better to do smaller pieces and then tie them or sew them together.
Sew them together, okay. Now, how much are we going to leave for the little tails? Because that will be, like, where are we going to start?
I think maybe a
because that will
quarter
be,
of an inch.
People would like to know that.
Yeah.
So that's right there.
Yeah,
okay.
about
a quarter
whereabouts.
Inch. Okay.
Yeah.
So take a little stitch at the 1/4 inch mark. And then get the center. It's just one loop. Get the center of that. This is tiny. It should go at the very edge. You might be able to just take a couple of stitches through there.
It always makes a better rosette if you do a couple of stitches. One stitch doesn't make a...
Then put this edge that you just sewed right down to the first, that 1/4 inch mark where you started. I don't know if
it's working.
So we have, it's kind of tight right there. It's sewn in here. And now you have 2 loops. Yeah. There they are.
There they are.
Okay. And then find one of them, the center again, and do the same thing. And then bring it down. See, it's just going to come down to the starting spot.
And these are so important for the finish of garments and hats and
I just went behind it. Let's see how that. Okay. And then we have one more to do.
So we're going to do another one, and then we're going to stitch them together. And then we've got that completed until we're ready to install it. So we'll get this finished, and then we'll come back and show you the next step.
Okay, now we have a few things left, but first I'll show you what I did with the two rosettes I made. There's one, there's 2, and I sewed them together in the middle. And I've left the thread because I'm going to sew them onto the hat
After we
later.
put the later.
Yeah. And then we'll kind of finger press these out because they're pretty flat, and we want to kind of puff them out a little bit. We'll do that at the end. Okay. Another thing we have here are the rest of the ribbon that we had, and just knotted one end of each.
So that we have something to sew.
Sew on. And then we'll figure out where her ears are, and I have it backwards, and then sew a bit behind that so we'll be able to tie this on under her chin. And then we have, and this, it kind of is keeping its shape because it's been sitting here drying. Good. And then we have the rest of, you don't have to measure this, it's just the rest of the lace comes in the kit. Fold it over each edge and run a double thread through it, and now we're going to gather it. Try not to put my hands right in the way. Okay, we've got a cute little thing, and then we're going to sew it over this part.
Yeah, just with some quick little stitches.
Like that, and a couple of stitches, and that'll be on. Then this will be stitched over it. So that'll finish up.
All right, well, let's sew them and sew this all together, and then let's come back and show them the last little finishing touch we're going to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We'll be back.
We're at the end, just about. So we gathered this bit of lace and just sewed it onto, I just did like the stab, in and out on through this.
And what made it easier?
Well, I want to show actually let's see. We'll show it. We'll show it. It's this. It's what do you call it? A needle puller.
A needle puller.
Where's the we don't have. Oh, here it is. The instructions. But it's a great little invention, and I'll show you how it works in a minute when I put the bow on. Grabs that needle and pulls it.
Isn't it just?
Oh, it makes life so.
It's one of Angela's suggestions.
Angela's, yes.
Yeah, she knows all these little. You know, we're old. We like to struggle with it.
Yes, like we've always done.
Yes.
All right. So put the hat kind of on her, and then try to decide where to sew these little ties. They're kind of behind where her ears would be.
Yes.
And going this way, don't sew them that way. Sew them kind of facing forward that way. And I decided where they were going to go by putting a little pin where I thought it should be. And that just made it much easier to know
the placement.
Where, where to sew them.
So now we're at the very last bit.
We're at the very last. And I think this is where I can show that little thing, because I think I'm going to need it. Okay.
I think you will need
so
it.
Here are two little bows at the end of the thread. And these are going to go right in the center of the lace in the back. Right there. So let's punch this in.
And you're going to go through them?
Everything.
Okay.
Okay, I think I have it just fine, but I'll show this little gizmo. So if I were stuck, take this, see this little notch here, put the needle in there, then push your thumb, push it. Wait a minute, I'm not seeing it. There we go. Whoop. Can't see it.
I can see it.
There we go. Can you see it now? Okay.
I can see it. Mm-hmm.
It's in there. Keep pushing down on that little knob and pull.
It's just like a dream.
It's like another hand or something.
It's like butter. It's just like butter. It goes through like butter.
Through. Okay.
Do you think do it twice, or do you think one stitch is good enough to hold it in? I think one.
One.
You're going to do two? All right, we don't want to lose after all that labor in that.
Okay, there it goes. Oh, that's nice.
For millinery, these are really essential tools.
Okay, we have 2 stitches in there. And it's not doubled either, so it's good. Okay, there we have it. We'll just I'll finish tying this off in the back, and then we'll kind of
we're going to finger press it.
Finger press it. And I think, as you're working on it, if it it's out of shape again, you can just reshape it.
And when you
let it dry.
When you
or let it sit.
When you missed it reactivates, so it.
Okay, we have our first little hat. And this might be sticky still. Let's see. Come here. There we go.
Yeah, that tape doesn't stay sticky for long.
Yeah, and
we don't want
her hats
it to.
have been on and up. No, we want it to be able to come off easily, and it will. It'll be fine.
That's the hardest part, is doing
this is the
tiny bow. Well, you don't have to do it now. Shall we finger press the back rosette?
Okay.
And I'd just give it a
give
very
a little spritz. Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Just a tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
And then just let it dry, and it'll hold the shape.
Nice, look at that. Yeah, that's nice. Okay.
She's going in. She's determined to get that tied.
I'm gonna get this blankety blank thing. Oh, it's crooked, but here,
Why don't you get it on you?
I tied the other one, didn't I?
If it were easy, anybody could do it.
Anybody can. Okay, let's see. I think my fingers are a little bit sticky. I think that, I don't know, the tarlet, does it?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it does have a little bit of,
yeah.
I think it's potatoes, starch.
Oh my. Still. I mean, they still make it that way?
Mm-hmm. The goop from the potatoes.
That's one thing use potatoes for.
There, you got it.
Okay, so we know this is real time. We know the struggle is real. And let's see, I don't know. I mean, I suppose you can trim this if you want. If I have to retie it, I wouldn't touch it. If I have to retie it.
You're gonna, this is, you're gonna be using this on your doll. So you're not gonna have 14 dolls. So
that's true.
You'll have to be able to. I think it turned out really nice, Denise. Are you happy with it?
Yeah, pretty happy.
What do you mean pretty happy? You better be happy. It's yours. All right. Well, we'll be back with our next hat. So we finished Domestic Bliss.
Domestic Bliss.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely.
We've got a little more fitting to do to it, but I think we got it. Okay. We'll be back.
We're on to our next hat, our second hat, and that is with the costume Sunflower Delight. And it comes in the little baggie. And we have cut out the pattern. I showed you guys where the patterns are. Well, it's probably the back page. It's probably the last pattern page. And we have this lovely silk and tarlatan, but it's not really sticking.
Black does not stick. Don't know
yeah,
why.
So, but that's no matter.
Because we're going to overcast it.
And we will overcast it, and you have to deal with what you have to deal with. So then you can see it on Lavinia, how sweet that is. And we have this little, what do you call this trim? Oh.
Loop trim.
Loop trim.
Mm-hmm.
And more bows. We're going to do some more bows. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that, sweet. Okay. So we're going to, I have a pencil this time instead of the pen, which I don't think would show. And we're just going to draw around here and cut this out. And then we're going to overcast, like we did the first one, through all three pieces and just keep it together.
So shall we cut that out?
And yeah, let's do that.
And then we will start the overcast.
And I can overcast and then show.
Okay. We'll be back.
So the first step that we need to do for this little hat, and see, we have the three pieces, and they're a little bit slippery in your hand, but just have to keep hold of them and overcast like we did the first hat.
Just right at the edge.
Right at the edge.
And this one I think the previous hat we could have gotten away with not doing this step, but this one we
need to hold these pieces together.
Yeah.
Or we'll be in a world of trouble.
Because it'll slip now, but it'll slip more later.
Yeah. And I traced around the pattern with a pencil, and it's very thick tip, so I cut inside that line so it didn't get too big.
And ideally, to show them, we should have done this in white thread, but but it's your hat. You don't want your hat.
No, well, it's going to get covered.
Yeah, but it would still, it
might
could
show
possibly
through.
show.
Yeah, that's true. Right, black on black is the hardest to see.
So we will sew this up, and then we will show them the next step.
Okay. We've overcast these 3 pieces together, and if you see any little white threads coming out, see if you can just clip those off. It's the tarlatan peeking through because it's a little bit slippery and they could kind of peek out. Okay, then the next thing, we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to do what we did with the first hat.
Or a lace.
I just said ribbon and our lace. Our lace. And
don't confuse us.
And go around, sorry, the
edge.
Yes, the edge. I just see more white here. Yeah, and like it's a little lining.
And
Okay.
you know, one little trick you can do, if you're just fighting with that, you can take a little ink pen and just...
Well, that was in my mind, but I didn't know
if it was permitted. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. And you just kind of...
Just kind of...
And then you're not going to fight with it.
You just touch it up. Just touch it. Yeah, because it... Yeah, I'm fighting now. I keep seeing little pieces sticking. Okay.
Because it's kind of, tarlatan's a loose fiber, so you're going to
Right.
have those fibers. So maybe we will do that. So anybody has at home an ink pen, and we'll just go over and we'll touch those up.
Little Sharpie, just touch along. It dries quickly and you'll never know that there was
And it's not going to run off.
A 19th century Sharpie.
Yeah, well, they would use ink if they had
If they had Sharpies, they would use them. Okay. So
we're going to do that, and then we're going to overcast or stitch on to the edge.
Yeah, we overcast it.
Just like we did on our last one.
On the first one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll do that, and we'll be back.
Okay. We've finished the inside, sewing the lace inside of this little hat. And as we said we're going to do, we overcast it onto the edges together, okay? And then, like the first hat, gathered this in here and pulled it and
tied it off. All right, so now we're going on to the outside.
And as the outside, okay, yeah, where is it? You can see that there's a little overhang here, and it looks so pretty and delicate. So we're going to try to do that.
And we figured that for them to measure how far, it should be the little kind of eyes.
Like the top.
That's going to be right at your edge of the hat, outer hat.
So I'm going to start, I think, well,
and we're
I don't know that I have a back. I guess it's back here. Okay.
And we're using the header is facing
the header
out.
Yes, you might think that you were going down and showing that, but
no.
The lace, the pretty part, actually is up on top of the hat. And just do your best to, and it's hard black on black, but you can see it just where that little eye or a lozenge is, at the top there, and I'm going to sew in here all the way around.
And we're going to, no gathers.
No gathers, yes, we're going to lay it flat.
You can see, perhaps you can hear Annabelle's having a nice nap.
Nice nap after lunch. She's a happy girl.
She was fussing, but now that she knows we're doing this, she's relaxed.
Nothing interesting to her. Yeah, it's not easy doing black on black, but
it's not easy to show it on camera, but
I bet, huh?
it is what it is.
Yeah,
We'll
Yeah. I think people get the idea, but you can see how it's hanging over a little bit.
Yeah, just a smidgy. Yeah, it looks nice. So we'll sew this and we will come back and go on to the next step.
Okay. We now are going to the little decoration on top. As you can see, it's a ribbon kind of interwoven around
the double picot.
Picot. That's the word picot I was looking for before. Yes. And okay.
So you did the lace on the outside, which looks
yes,
very
we did
nice.
the lace on the outside, and you sew very close to the edge. But then this is sticking up. So again, I put a running stitch around and then pulled it a little bit.
But it's fairly loose looking.
Just to keep it down. Right, it's not ironed flat, but
well, we don't want
it's not going to stick up.
Fluffy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now...
And we want to find the center. We're going to find the center of the picot, because as you can see, it's going to extend down on either side as her little, it's like a little lappet kind of thing.
Yes, yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Okay, so I've found the center of the picot. And we're going to find the center, hopefully. And see how, what? What?
No.
Okay. I'm just, putting it down there. I was going to say, see how helpful these are.
I love them.
It's like a third.
I mean, I gave for
hand.
you, just so you know, a nice, clean, fresh one.
Yeah.
Because mine that I work with look like a murder scene.
Okay, let me just hold the, well, actually, yeah. Where's the ribbon? Here it is. So let's take the ribbon, put it under here.
They are like these pads are like having a little helper.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we can tack that down.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to
catch the ribbon in that.
In here, catch it in here, and go in and out till we get to this side. Of course, I'll take that out. Okay.
And this is one of the, I think in this hat is the only fiddly bit. The rest of it's pretty straightforward.
Right. But it's so pretty to have this weaving in and out. Okay.
She is in dreamland. She's been fighting it all day.
Pretty cute.
Now she's out.
Well, she went for a nice walk, a couple actually. I'll tire her out. All right,
and that's a lot of knots, but the thread will blend into all the lace. You can't even see any of that.
Okay, so that's anchored. And then let's try to.
I think you'll find it's easiest to pin it onto the table, and then
weave it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, that's what worked for me.
And then pin this side. No.
And it seems the best way is to skip, to do one and then skip, and then it just seems to, see? And that just
goes
falls,
right in here.
it falls right in place. That's it, you got it.
I don't want to fold it up.
No folding.
Can I pin that?
Sure.
I have a whole wheel. It's okay. I just want to pin that there. Okay. I guess that's
it.
it. Okay. Let me just put this here for a second.
And then I just tack down the other side.
Yeah.
It's like we've got a little twist there, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. There is a twist. And we're not satisfied unless it's...
Well, this is for your collection, so it better be to your satisfaction.
Oh, right. Okay.
This is for Denise Buese's collection.
But, I mean, this is what we go through. You have to be able to take out...
Well, isn't that what...
almost as much as you sew, because...
Once it twists, I think it kind of... there you go. Is that working?
I think so. Maybe it's a little tight.
That's just you have to get it just right. I think there you got it.
I think I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And maybe you want to turn that last bit under. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Under?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all sticking out so much. Okay. How's that?
Hold it facing me.
Oh,
towards
okay.
me. I think that looks great.
Okay.
All right, shall we get that? So we'll tack that in place, and then we'll come back and show you the next step.
Okay. We're at our next step after having put this on.
Which looks beautiful.
It's just a continuation. Okay. And now we have, as you can see here, a little streamer. And we have plenty of this.
So they use the lace that's left.
Yes.
Whatever's left.
You don't have to cut it.
You have to measure it.
I'm making it a little neater. Figured do a little.
You're cutting half an eye off.
Cut it so that I don't know. It looks nicer.
But it's whatever is left in their lace is for.
Okay. And then fold it over. Find the middle. Fold it over so it's sort of in a little V shape.
And we're going to stitch that on the back of this, right?
Yes. So let me find, the back is right there, so we're going to stitch it right here.
But you know what, Denise, we could just go ahead and use our rosettes to stitch it
and
on.
Just stitch it on.
Why not?
Okay. We have made the rosettes, and I think it's easy to make them with the little tail so you have something to hold on to. But then you can cut that little tail off.
So we took the remaining ribbon and we made 3 separate rosettes.
Yes, we just cut the ribbon, the remaining ribbon, in thirds, generally speaking. I think it came to a little bit more than 9, but just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We divided it equally.
Yes.
And then we made our little rosettes, which have two loops on each side. So they're ready.
They are ready. We did that. So let's pick this up. I'm going to hold it, straighten it. There we go. And this is already connected to thread. And we're going to have 2. So the second one will go on the bottom here.
So they're stacked on top of each other.
Stacked on top. Yes.
Just to give it an interesting design.
The last time we sewed them together, not this time. Got a little knot there. Okay, there's just something here that the area that I'm sewing here is pretty narrow. This is a little bit wider. I'm just kind of tucking that in so it doesn't stick out.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable? I think. Okay.
You got to make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, these are about the size of just a little bit bigger than a quarter.
Okay, I probably didn't need that many stitches, but let's go back up. Or let's see, where's the other one?
Yeah, I'm just going with the other one.
I'm going to take the thread off this one though. The thread. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go back up and catch this one. And is this one
just stacked below it?
We are going to fluff these afterwards.
Yeah, well, we're going to show them how to do that.
Well, it'll be better.
Yeah, because they're getting ran over by a truck.
If it looks like it. Did I already? Oh, already came through.
We'll fix it.
We need to tell a story while I'm rethreading my needle. So, I already came up.
You threaded that pretty fast.
Not too bad.
Are we getting the point where we need a needle? Oh, yeah. Needle puller?
Well, I don't think we do, but I just love this thing. Okay, look, I mean...
all those years of suffering.
Suffering and... wee, yeah. Love it.
Well, we were down to 1 in the boutique, but our order just came in today, so...
I'm lucky.
You're lucky. I mean, we've got to take supplies when we can get them because there's really is a shortage.
Gets harder and harder.
It does.
Okay, I'm going to have to... oh.
Well, we can take care of that.
Yeah. This is gonna, yeah.
We're gonna take care of that. We got our little.
We're gonna do a little more Sharpie.
That's right. I'd rather do that than have black.
I didn't want, yeah, we don't black, and I kind of went up and over to catch it. But I think, you know, there's almost nothing that can't be fixed.
No. And we're going to use our Sharpie because it's not going to run off on her hair, which is black.
Right. Okay. So we have.
I think that's a very effective
We have
look.
some kind of flat.
Are we going to tell them our secret?
All right.
So in order to get those to be fluffy, you've got to refluff them.
Okay. And these are nice little curved scissors. They work really well.
Angela.
Yay, Angela. See? Get that girl back here.
I love these. See, this is just, it just puts them right back in the beautiful shape that we want.
Oh, that was bigger. I think it could probably spritz them too, and
I think, yeah.
And here's a.
Ultimately, we'll spritz it and do the same thing. Kind of set it when we're really done, because we still have one more.
And you have to.
One more stop.
Pull. Make sure you're pulling them apart, because they like to hide under each other.
Mm-hmm. No, that fluffed it out.
Okay.
I think that's looking good. So the next step is we have to fit it to her to do the final rosette.
Let me look at her. Put it on the little tape there. Oh, how cute. Okay. Look, I'm just holding it. Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
It's really cute. Okay, and we want to, let's see, are these too long? I'm looking at the original one. I think we need to cut these.
Should we trim them?
I think we need to.
Okay, well, trim them. It's your hat, so trim it to your.
That's right. I can make it the way I want.
I think you can do the cross and pin it, and then figure out where you want to trim it. And I mean, we've given them enough so that if they made a little oopsie, that they.
Right. It's better to have a little bit more. Yeah.
But it shouldn't go below her waist.
Nah. Okay. So this is sort of where crossing, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it goes around her face. And then I think I might take them off about there.
All right.
Okay.
And then we're going to stitch the rosette there in to hold the crisscross in the front.
Got that much. Yes.
So it looks like you took off about 1.25 inches.
Well, from each side.
Yeah.
Then this little rosette will go right here.
All right. So we'll sew that on, and we'll show them the final thing after we've.
We're ready to finish this hat. And in order to see, it's still pretty flat. And we still want to get these little rosettes kind of sitting pretty. So we're going to mist it again. Okay. Put it on her head, and then, like the last hat, let me see. And get it centered. And then again, we're just going to kind of push it. Yeah, a little bit around there.
And we might even give it another mist once it's on it.
Okay.
Don't you think that would be a good idea?
There, how's that? A little more? If one's good, two
That's
are better.
right.
Okay, and then we can kind of fluff up these little rosettes a little better. We're going to hold this here.
I think we got it.
It's just a little rounded. It's not.
Yeah, well, it's just enough to look natural, like it's not a pancake sitting on her head. So I would just say, I would just let that dry overnight, and it's going to have a nice shape.
And there is tarlatan in between these layers, so that's like the last one. Should be okay. Oops.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, we're on to the next project.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be back.
Okay.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.